So, to mix things up a little bit and hear multiple voices, I'm going to let you all introduce yourselves. So I'll pass the mic down the line. Start with you, Carl Thomas.
Hi, my name is Carl Thomas. I'm with Healthy Pet. I've been a lifelong sustainability person, both in my personal life and professional life. I had a company that dealt with recycling fuels and oil, started way back in 1994. I've been in a sustainability position at Healthy Pet for about 2 years. And my advice to everyone is to, as someone just mentioned, seek outside help like PSC and some other folks that really can give you the tools, the expertise to make a difference. It can happen quickly if you let other people help you.
Hi, I'm Sarah Stone. I work for Worldwise. You might know our brands, Go Dog, Here Doggy, Sherpa, Smarty Cat, Trusty Pup, and Pet Links. It's like name yours. I've actually been with the company for 20 years. I didn't start when I was 6. I started when I was 17. But we were actually started as an environmental products company, not as a pet product company. That's what took off for us. And so we've been a pet product company for probably the last 12 to 15 years. And yeah, I've been a sustainability champion because I've been there so long and I know the story and also like the loudest squeaky wheel. But we don't have an official sustainable position, and we just kicked off our very first green team, and I'm super excited about that.
Hi, I'm Dennis O'Donnell with Paul 5. So Paul 5 we started in 2015, and the beginning of the company and our path with PSC are one and the same. We actually became a PSC member before our first product was actually manufactured and before we had a name. So that was cool. And what we do is we're trying to change the way dogs eat for good by revolutionizing kind of the way we feed our dogs and trying to make it a more natural and enriching experience. And I've been getting a lot of questions of what does that mean? And since I don't have the time to tell you about it now, email me so I can give you some of our stuff. Thanks.
I'm Sierra Smith. I work for IMW Pet Food. I'm the controller there and also head of sustainability. I've been with the company for about 2.5 years. I Love You was a founding company of PSC, but I'm relatively new to the organization, so it's been really fun getting to know all the tools that they have available to us and help us in our sustainability efforts. I'm also on the board of Denver Bike Share, which is the e-cycle stations you see around town when you're walking around. It's a nonprofit company that owns and operates that system, and for that I was in the accounting for many years.
So welcome, each and every one of you. Thanks for being here. So we want to hear about the tools from our toolkit that you have used and how you kind of apply those in a particular project. And we'll start with you, Carl. Tell us a little bit about zero waste in manufacturing.
We have good stories to tell there. And one thing I might highlight for owners and managers here, I said I was a sustainability manager. But that's probably my the 5th hat I wear. So I would say, okay, I do all the other stuff. So sustainability doesn't have to be a full-time position, but someone who's thinking about it all the time, trying to make a difference. So about 2.5 years ago, with Ted, my boss, and Caitlin, got involved with PSC and filled out the assessment form, which was phenomenal because our product, what we make CareFresh, is actually a repurposed pulp. So literally about 98% of what goes out our back door is a repurposed product, so we felt good about that. But what the assessment showed is that there's other areas where we could improve and there's other opportunities. So we ran through the tool with a lot of product from you folks, which is helpful because this isn't my primary position. And there's several areas in which we could improve, but it turned out the offsite waste was a really big opportunity. And towards zero waste in the program that was also supported by a local sustainability group. So working with all these partners, we just started looking at all the things that were going into our waste containers. We have a 30-yard dumpster that's parked in the back of our shop. And they were hauling that dumpster off every 2 weeks. So we have 26 loads a year, which in addition to the waste, we're about 25 miles out of town, so there's the carbon load from the transfer truck and all those types of things. So with a fellow proactive colleague that's on the manufacturing side, we started to jump in that dumpster diving and tried to see what the problem was. And it was Actually pretty simple. Once we dug into it literally and saw what was going on there, it was really a segregation problem that was fixed with about $800 of recycling receptacles throughout the facility, labeling, and some more time than money, frankly. And after a year and a half to 2 years, we literally have reduced it by 92%. So instead of hauling 26 containers away, we now haul 2 away per year. And Tim, our manufacturing lead, is trying to get it down to 1. So it's a great story, but again, it was finding avenues for all our waste. Paint cans, we have many conveyor belts in our facility. He found a tire recycler that would take those belts, and it's just phenomenal, and the entire staff is into it, so it's been a really nice success story. And again, starting with that assessment, it really highlighted where we're missing the boat, so that was helpful.
So sometimes you have to get your hands dirty, a little dumpster diving, nice. And the quick impact assessment is what really revealed low-hanging fruit opportunity. Awesome. So Sarah, you have for a long time been the sustainability champion at Worldwise, and you are now not alone in that endeavor. So tell us a little bit about how this green team came about and the tools that we used.
So I don't know if I mentioned before, I'm speaking wheel at my company, and so they said, okay, Sarah, why don't you start a green team? And I said, okay, I'll figure that out. And luckily, I was talking with Caitlin at one of the trade show events, and she said, you know, we can help you with that, right? And I said, yes, please. So the very first thing we did was we did the employee survey, and that was really valuable for us because we not only figured out what percentage of the company knew about sustainability, how they defined it, who was in, we didn't know who specifically was into it or not, but we knew what percentage of the company was passionate about it. We also learned what hurdles they saw, whether real or in their heads, to enacting sustainability in the company. And so we are able to take some of that learning and take it to our green team and say, okay, well, we know that people are, you know, excited about greening up our space and getting better at recycling, yada, yada, yada. And we also know that people don't feel like they have enough time, so how do we address that? The other thing that they helped us with was they gave us a framework, a structure for our green team. It wasn't just a bunch of people meeting in a room and saying, so what do you guys want to do? They helped us structure it, so like, these are the positions you need to fill. Somebody's going to be a lead, somebody's going to be the liaison to the senior team. This is how you should work, this is how often you probably should meet. Oh, and by the way, here's a list of things, low-hanging fruit that you can go after first. And so what that did was really set us up for success right off the bat. And we've had 2 full meetings so far, and the team is really fired up about moving forward. I can't wait to take all of the learnings and all the inspiration back to them, because I think it's just going to propel us forward even faster.
Thank you. So sounds like a little bit of structure to help it happen, and that's what we're here to help support you all with. So Dennis, tell us a little bit about the unique story of product development in your company and the project that we worked with you to kick it off.
So things did kick off at the quick impact assessment for us. So like I said, we were starting with sustainability first at Paul 5. And so what was funny is I remember talking to Caitlin, and she said, take the quick impact assessment. And I said, I have no revenue, no company, and no product. So what is it going to assess? And we didn't great.
Zero
But she was right, which is what it did show me is what I have to keep in mind. And so it did something unique, which is we didn't build the company and build products and then go, okay, now how can we make them sustainable? We would go, should we make this move at the company with employees? And we'd look back at the assessment and go, well, that's not the right way to do it. So, and same with the product. If we couldn't make a product sustainably or have some key sustainability component from the beginning, we just wouldn't do it. Or we'd go back to the drawing board and find a way that we could. And we're actually struggling with that right now on scaling up a product that we were able to launch sustainably, and now we're working to scale sustainably. And I think we're actually finally going to do it. And so no one thing really helped us. It was this framework that once it became the mindset and the basis by which we made every decision, not unlike core values, it in some ways made things more difficult, but in many more ways made it much, much easier.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And again, our quick impact assessment, a lot of you have taken it, for some of you it might be new. It's about 1/3 of the full B Corp certification assessment. And it gives us that baseline, where you're at, and it measures environment, workers, community, governance, and impacts in all of those areas. And so it really gives a baseline for what's possible. Speaking of B Corp certification, so Sierra with I Am Loving You, the company has been looking at and considering certification and been partnering with us to dive into that. So if you could say a little bit about the tools and the project that's afoot.
So when I started with I Am Loving You, we were already undergoing the impact certification and doing the full assessment. And admittedly and sort of embarrassingly, I had never even heard of B Corp certification. I was like, what's that? But Caitlin was there every day, and we were going through the process, and I was really intrigued and inspired, and knew that this is why I joined the company, because they really wanted to go after things that were good for the environment, good for the employees, and changing our governance structure and all of that. And then shortly after I came on, we had some structural changes in the company, and we lost total momentum. And it was completely put on the back burner. Nobody wanted to put any time and resources into this effort, and it kind of sat that way for several years. So we were still involved with PSC. We were founding companies. We didn't want to lose that relationship and connection. And I was asked to head up our sustainability efforts, whatever that might look like or be going forward. So I met with Caitlin several times just to say, to see what would be our best way to move forward, considering that I didn't have a lot of momentum in the company. So what PSC did for us was put together a case study that we could then together take to our new executive team and management and say, and sort of re-educate at a top level, why is B Corp certification valuable? Why is it valuable to our employees? Why is it valuable to our customers and ultimately our end consumer? So many of you might know, but we target millennial pet owners as our core demographic, and being a sustainable company is very important to millennials, what we're finding. So they put together this very comprehensive case study that compared our company to a very similar older company that's already B Corp certified, and walked through all the successes that company had found and the value that they found in terms of going through the process, not just to their bottom line, but to their employee retention and overall happiness. So that went over extremely well, and they did a great job educating our top management, and now we've gotten full sign-offs and signatures to move ahead very quickly, and they very quickly realized that yes, this is in line with our mission, it's in line with our core values, and we need to move forward with this, it's important. And it was just something that I couldn't do alone. I needed their support to be able to educate and help put that process in motion, and now that we have that support at the top, I think we'll get full company embrace and employee engagement in terms of getting to B Corp certification. So we haven't really dived back into that yet. We're in the process of it, but I think it will move a lot more smoothly now.
That's great, thank you. One of the services that we offer is the ability to do research for you all as the PSC to look at, in this case we looked at another B Corp that was a similar size and product to I Am Loving You, and able to say this is the success that they've had, and include a lot of research on millennials. So it's something I certainly enjoy getting to do for the members, and it helps move those projects along. So. And you started to allude to this a little bit, but next question here, what is next for you and your company?
We've had some great successes over the last couple of years, but hands down, the next effort is just to keep dig deeper and educate all the employees. We have 125 employees, about a third of them are office staff and sales folks, and the rest of them work in the shop, and warehouse, and production. It's hard to communicate the message to all those people, but we're continuing to work on that. We have one plant that's north of Seattle, and the other one is on the East Coast. And that's another challenge, is get that message across. It's been a big help to get a new QA person in the East Coast plant that's on the same page and speaking the same language. So the next challenge is just digging deeper into the employee base and making sure everybody's on the same page and understands the value of the company.
Do you have a green team?
It's an informal green team. It's myself, Tim, the manager, someone on the marketing staff to help put the paperwork together, and then this new QA manager now on the East Coast is a big help. So that's really been untouched territory because it's so far away in time zones and those types of things. But having the four of us work together and kind of cross-talk back and forth, again, using Amanda, the East Coast plant, uses all the stuff that we've done, all the successes we've had to sell a story and be part of the green team. But it is helpful to have a group that we get together, not formally, but when it's needed, when things come up, and we're just, support structure, keep the process going.
Let us know how we can continue to help.
Yeah.
So Sarah, what is next for you all, work-wise?
So we are going to, as a team, update our quick impact assessment and really see where our opportunities are and where we're doing well, and also knock off some of those low-hanging fruit ideas and projects that PSC suggested to us. My personal fight is making sure everyone in our office knows how to recycle and what those blue bins are, and do you have one under your desk? And yes, absolutely. So that's my personal, and we're right now as a team all picking our projects that are our personal passions, and we'll work together in concert to make those happen. But I think the updating the quick impact assessment is going to be a big part of that.
That's great. Thank you. Dennis, what's next?
Yeah, I think for us, one of the most exciting parts about sustainability that before joining PSC I didn't realize was a massive part of sustainability is your people. And we've already done a good amount of work on employee engagement, core values, but even in these past 2 days I've learned we've got a lot more that we can do. And my reason for that is incredibly selfish, which is when people are happy and engaged, it's a really fun place to work. So I think that's what we're going to be looking at next, and really kind of trying to dial up the transparency.
I like it. Sierra.
So what is next for I Am Loving You? We started with sort of management education around sustainability, and now the next step is going to be employee education and engagement. So we'll be hosting a company-wide meeting to just make sure that everybody understands why this is something the company values and what that path looks like to get to our end goal, which is B Corp certification, and just make sure that any questions or concerns that our employees have are answered, because it's really going to take all departments and all people. We only have 20 companies or 20 employees in our company to get this done. So that's the first next step. And then I think just diving back into the full impact assessment. We've been through it once and we know what our score is, and it's not super low, but it's not where we need to be. So we're going to start that process all over again, because we've made some good progress organically just as we've grown as a company, and keeping sustainability in the back of our mind. So going back through that process and seeing what our new score is and where we need to go from there.
Thank you. So at this point, I'm wondering if there are any questions from the audience about the tools, about these member projects, particular areas.
Can you elaborate a little bit on the green teams, how you put that together, and what they do exactly?
So for us, I'm going to give you a little background and I'll try to circle back around it. So we've always had environmental benefits in our products, but as we've grown and grown rapidly, we've lost a little bit of that knowledge and drive within our offices, within our company. So what we want to do first, so the green team, the way it's structured right now is We have at least one person from every department and even some sub-departments. So we have, with operations, we have someone from purchasing, and then we also have someone from shipping logistics, for example. We have one person, at least one person from each of our product development teams. And so we have a lead, so somebody who schedules the meetings, send out the agenda, sends the reminders. We also have a senior team liaison, which is me. And so what I do is when there is a project that's going to cost so much money, take so much time, whatever the threshold that they are setting for us, whenever we're above that, we take the project to them and say, this is what we want to do, this is how much it's going to cost, this is why we want to do it, which is where PSC will come in for a lot of the big projects, so we can give them the business case and say this is why it's important. Getting people to put stuff in our recycling bin, I don't have to run that by screen. And so what we're doing, and I think I really believe in that teams and organizations and things are growing living entities. So it's going to evolve over time, and we're going to see what works, we're going to see what doesn't. Like right now, I'm actually a little worried that we're biting off more than we can chew because everyone's super enthusiastic. I'm trying not to rain on anyone's parade. So we're going to kind of see how this goes, and then if we have we're going to have some successes, and I want to get those in early. But then if we have any failures, learn from those and not let it discourage us, but let it fuel our future endeavors. Did I answer your question? Okay.
I might add, as you select your team, I differently by accident in different departments, but I really want to get champions because doing the work we're going to do is going to be hard, and the last thing I need to do is convince people on the team that they have to do it. So the other three folks I work with are as gung-ho or more gung-ho than I am on the sustainability issue. So it's a great team to have. So it's not work. It's we're all pushing the same direction. So make sure you get people that are enthusiastic.
What other questions do you have?
When you went through the process of picking the people that you wanted to have on this team, what kind of challenges, if any, did you have? What kind of questions, or how did you come about saying, oh, that's the perfect person on my team because they have whatever it is? Secondarily, in our company, we have many people that do not speak English very well. And the communication factor definitely is an issue when we have safety meetings and things like that. We constantly have to have translators and so on. Have you had those kind of challenges?
So for us, I let the team be self-selecting because I wanted the most enthusiastic, the most driven people, like you said. That's an excellent point. The only thing I required was that we have at least one person from every team. So there were a couple teams that I had to follow back up with and say, hey, did you talk to your team? Hey, do you have any volunteers? And it only took, there was one team I had asked 3 times, but for the most part, people volunteered, and the people who were most enthusiastic and excited about it self-selected themselves for our team. We have not run up against, we haven't rolled this out to our production facility yet. We're really focusing on our headquarters right now, so we haven't run up to that challenge yet. And I'm wondering, since you have a production facility, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, just the head of operations, Tim, was just fantastic. I mean, just talking about it. He was saying, well, what can we do next? So there was really, I think folks that bubbled to the top. It was very easy. And I felt it was better to have a smaller team than a big team because through the assessment, those types of things, we found low-hanging fruit. And we thought it was really important to have big impact in the towards zero waste board. And something we really had highlighted to have that radical reduction in offsite waste. It was a great story to tell. Speaking of stories, everybody could hear that you actually can make an impact. And now we can roll out more programs, and we can say, hey, we'll do the same thing over and over again. So yeah, it's really getting those enthusiastic, a small team of enthusiastic people, and we're missing the finance department and some other folks, but 4 was enough to really make a difference.
How long have you been at it?
Since 1994, but at the company, about 2 years. It happened pretty quickly, yeah. That's, I will say, my one piece of advice there is start on something small, quick, and impactful. Just don't make it too big of a challenge. Get something done this year, check it off. Next year, check it off. And fight a big fight in 2 years.
I want to jump in real quick here and talk a little bit about green teams. So there's a whole section of the toolkit that talks about how you set your team up for success. And there's not a one-size-fits-all solution. It needs to be a customized approach for the types of things that you're going to be tackling and the type of team that you have on board. One of the newer pieces of knowledge that came out to the sustainability community is that sometimes if you only pick the champions, then you only appeal to people who are connected morally to that issue, and that if you actually bring in social champions, so those people inside your company who get people to come to the company Christmas meeting and who are around just your social butterflies, so you need those people at the table too. So if you only pick the champions, they only talk about sustainability in a certain way, and that you need to find ways to approach all different types of knowledge and understanding and barriers. So I would say go to the toolkit, and also, we ask a customized set of questions too that are in addition to the quick impact assessment. So at the end it asks you things like, when you tried to do something different at your company last time, what happened? So where are you facing barriers, and where's your buy-in right now? So, do you have buy-in from a manufacturing level, or do you have buy-in from a C-suite level, and what's that dynamic like? And so those things are important parts in developing a green team. I appreciate all of your answers, but I think it's important to think about kind of your company and what's going to be successful as well.
Exactly.
So I just want to add that.
And high level, one team member needs to be the top. Yeah, top guy needs to be the top, so that's fine.
Hey, you guys.
Jill, do you want to?
I just have one quick question. So,
Here.
oh, you got letter now? So you have this low-hanging fruit issue, right? You're gonna change light bulbs, put recycling bins in people's desks, start recycling cardboard, composting, whatever the heck it is. Or change the windows out. But you have the employees who don't buy into it, who are not on the team, who don't understand the value of doing any of this. How do you impress upon those people who really don't care that this is having an impact on your business? Because, if you have, how many people do you say you have?
Now the shop, about 125.
Okay, so you got 125 people. Maybe 10% of them care. How do you get the other 90% to say, oh yeah, light bulbs, I don't have a headache anymore, or the lighting's better, or recycling cardboard? How does that impact them at the end of the day? Anybody?
I was just going to say, it's just that's that next stage for us is employee engagement. We have a fairly high level of employee engagement, but some of the things we did in the warehouse is actually just change the procedures. It was it became a sustainability procedure. So there wasn't a place to put the waste in the wrong receptacle. Everything got put in its specific location. But you're right, the early adopters are easy now. Bell curve and all, it's all marketing, it's all the same stuff. It's getting to those last tails that are tough. And you just have to keep educating that from a lean perspective. We use lean type principles is to set up systems that only allow waste to go in certain containers, and it's self-fixing. And they don't make a choice how they pack the bags, and they don't make a choice where they throw things away because the receptacle that they're going to throw it into is set up for recycling. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
I'll also add that, social, what did you call it? Social
butterfly.
butterflies, yeah. Those people are important. We were lucky in our team that a lot of people who are passionate about sustainability are also our social butterflies. So we got like a little 2-for-1 punch. But those are the people you need to send out, even if they're not on the team, if you can sort of like buddy up to them and say, hey, you know what? Did you realize that we changed all the light bulbs? Isn't the light here so much better?
Yeah.
And so they can go off and say, hey, do you mind mentioning that in your next team meeting? And so you have, we have somebody from every department. So when we actually get all the recycling done, they can go to their team meetings and say, hey, you guys, it's great news. We're going to do this recycling thing. It's going to be really fun. But, whatever we're going to structure it. Right. But those social butterflies will help you get the word out, help you get the excitement out. You're never going to get 100% of the people. And frankly, I don't always care if you get their heart as long as you get their actions.
Yeah.
We good on time?
Yeah.
We're fine.
All right. For us, having core values as a company that we came up with as a team changed the whole dynamic. And so for us, it stopped being a thing of what you're doing or why you're doing it. And so then we even started to hire on core values almost exclusively. And so then I don't really have to get people on board because they've come into the company already buying in to the culture and the why of what we're doing. So if I say we're going to be doing recycling now, it isn't like, well, I don't really care, because we hired someone who implicitly cares. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, they recycle.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
And I would say for our company, so we have few employees, so 15 in office and then 5 remote. And just knowing them personally, I know that when they're at home, they compost and they recycle and they buy environmentally friendly cleaning products and recycle paper towels or whatever it might be. So I know that on a personal level it matters to them, but when you formalize the process into something like the B Corp impact assessment, then all of a sudden we start getting these eye rolls and sighs like, well, why is this worth my time? I have to answer all these questions, I have to gather data, you're taking time out of my day, and those are the people who really struggle to engage. And so I think our strategy is going to be, not only that initial meeting of educating employees that why does this matter to the company, but also why does this matter to you on a personal level, and how does this impact you? It's not just a company benefit, and it's not just based on our environmental impact. There's also a huge human resource impact. And so if you buy into it and you get excited, then these are the things that you could benefit from, like totally revamping our employee handbook and offering new benefits and allowing employees to have community involvement days that are paid and things like that. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well maybe I'm not on the team, maybe I thought it was a waste of time and resources, but that's pretty cool. And now it benefits me personally and something that I'm passionate about.
Thank you.
I was going to jump in for a second again. I do that. So the question is really, how do you handle skeptics? And sustainability professionals have gotten really masterful at handling skeptics. And I think there's an opportunity to talk about it in a different way that does resonate with them. So if you're sharing your idea and they're giving you pushback, it's important to listen to what that pushback is because you can address that. So Carl, not all of your employees speak English as a first language, and you have a manufacturing facility, and Ted says, I realized I had to stop calling it sustainability and I had to start calling it safety and efficiency, and those terms resonate completely with them, and they get it, right? We heard from Eco Products today, and they said, we tie it to their bonuses, so they're rewarded when they're a part of the process in a positive way, right? So I think there's ways of thinking more holistically about how we talk about sustainability, because it's a buzzword that means a lot and a little to a whole lot of people. And if you can find the things that they value and tie that in and lead them and make it a positive experience for them, there are definitely ways to do that. But Stephanie also wanted to talk about getting everyone's buy-in into the vision, so I will hand it over to you.
I think it's a great question because, as Caitlin said, sustainability means so many things, so many different things to so many people. And at Planet Dog, right, the name's Planet Dog, and we thought we were this big sustainable company. And turns out we weren't. And about 2 years ago, we worked very closely with PSC to really understand what sustainability meant to each and every one of our employees. And we only have 50 employees, so we don't have a big company, but we actually closed our company down for 1 full day. Our store, our distribution center, design, everything. Brought everybody in. Caitlin and Nick from PSC came in, and Natural Capitalism Solutions. And we had a working session on what sustainability meant to each and every one of our employees. And prior to that, they put together a survey for us and asked everybody what sustainability meant to them, what's Planet Dog doing that inspires them, are we doing anything that inspires them, and so on and so forth. And we had 100% participation on that survey, which is unheard of. And so that was great going into the working session because we knew that it really inspired people. People wanted to understand what sustainability meant. What does it mean? Is it philanthropy? Is it social? Is it our workers? Is it environmentally only? And so we learned a lot, but we learned together. And then the entire team set the pace for us. It wasn't me, and it wasn't Alex, it was every single person. A part-time employee, full-time employee, executives, they set the goals, they told us what was important to them. And then the outcome is hopefully to be B Corp certified, and I know that we're really close for that, but they set the pace, so there was buy-in for everyone. They picked the green team together. So maybe not everyone was on the green team, but everybody set the pace in terms of what sustainability meant to them and to Planet Dog. So there is a way that you can really inspire people. They picked the values, they picked the new mission, similar to Spencer and his company in West Paw, same thing. We should have done it years ago, but we did do it, and it's amazing, it's transformative. And so it does work, and that was the best thing we could have ever done with PSC.
Thanks, Doug.
You're welcome.
Stephanie?
Yes, it doesn't matter. You over there,
Yeah.
Steph.
Great conversation.